Justin, CandyMachines.com. We're going to install our Nayax and integration with our price locker switch, which is found on our mini extremes. So first things first, this plexiglass window, this is where our Nayax is going to be installed. Okay. So our plexiglass comes off like this, as you can see. And as you can see, it's roughly the same size as our Nayax plate's going to be. So just to kind of give you an idea of how it's going to work. And then the plate itself is going to be installed like this. And then the screws are going to go literally back into the position that they were. And then that's going to be how we install the actual Nayax installation plate. We're going to leave it off for a second here. This is just to show you how it's going to look, where it's going to be at in relation to the machine. Our next step now is we're going to show how to run the wires through the coin box, and we're going to start with the antenna first. We're going to open up our coin box again. This time around we have a hinge, so we can let it sit like so. Now we're looking at the inside of our Nayax, or a coin box. Our antenna that we're going to install is going to be ran through this small section right here. So our antenna actually has to go through the back and through this hole and out to this front here. So let's go back to our back section and show how this antenna is going to be installed. Carefully remove the Nayax. We got the installation guide. And then we're going to have our antenna. As mentioned, our antenna wire is pretty long. Typically, we install the Nayax into the antenna into this area here. We have a magnetic antenna, so the magnetic part is going to obviously attach to the machine. The other end is going to attach to the Nayax, which we'll get to in a minute. But this brass pin connector actually attaches to your back of your Nayax board itself. This is what you will install with the machine. So we have our black electric tape. We got our brass connection. We have our metal rod. We're going to basically tape this up neatly here. And then we got our connection of wire. As you can see, we're in our larger port here under our light switch. We've ran our rod safely through the machine, protecting the brass connector and using the tape to help secure this antenna. So here we have our wooden, or you could use a plastic coffee stirrer. Go through, because we have metal connections. Metal and metal do not mix, so you want an insulator. So you want to install that through there, and then what we're showing on the top is where it's going to be pulled out from. So go through there. Now you got to gently work the top and then gently pull the cable out. Now we have our antenna and we have our square connector, which is going to be installed in the back of the Nayax. This is our 4-pin connector as we've referred to in the beginning of the video. This connection literally snaps into place here. This is our door switch. Our door switch is going to be on the top of the locker box. Now, in the earlier pictures, we peeled back our connector harness. We heat shrinked it, and we exposed this mint green or lime green wire. It's different from this darker green one, just to show the difference here. So the dark green is going to be the pulse 1. So technically this green wire, the lighter green wire, is going to go to the door switch. The door switch again is going to be connected to our prize locker box. This is going to give you notification that your prize door lock has been opened or somebody has won your prize. So in the next section here, I'm going to connect these two wires, but we're going to do it with a solder splice, which has a heat shrink onto it. So as you can see, we have our solderless connection. So we're able to fish the green wire out a little bit from the connection to give us some length, as I didn't have too much to work with on the actual Nayax cable itself. Again, this is the mint or lime green Nayax cable that we wired up to on the harness, and remember, this was the one that's going to be labeled door switch. Next stage, we're going to install our plate. Again, I'm going to fit it on like so. Bottom portion of the square is going to be at the lower spot. We're going to use the small screws that were provided on the plexiglass. And we're going to run our wire through. And this is going to install to the back of the Nayax. So we got like a small kind of gasket like this. So this goes off to the side. Keep our screws. Then we usually use a small screwdriver in the back. This is kind of a bitch. But thinking about it, this is your Nayax. Wires are going to go down.
Yep.
Now we're ready to install our Nayax unit. Again, orientating ourselves facing up. Card's going to be in this position. Again, these are going to be facing towards the bottom of the machine. Look at our connectors. We have our two connectors there. As you can see, it's going to fit in right at the bottom like so. I'm going to flip it around. So it's a pretty secure connection. Push it all the way in. And then it's going to kind of fit kind of down through this to this little slot here. Then we have our brass antenna connection. It goes to our brass connection, if you could see down here. Again, it just pops into place. You don't need to jam it in. These are very secure connections. Once you kind of hear a slight click when it's installed into place. You don't need to jam it. It really does pretty well connecting. Now, once it's installed, now we have our plastic door. Install it like that. Now we got our wires secure there. This is secure. It's helped protects our wire from getting pulled out of the Nayax. Now we're going to gently feed our wire back through. And then now we have a plate that gets installed like so. And these screws that we took out for the original piece, this actually gets installed back on to the Nayax itself. We installed our Nayax cable antenna and then the backing plate, which protects the wiring. So we're going to turn on our unit. As you can see, our LEDs came on. So here we have our Nayax engaging. The antenna is actually open. We wait for the Nayax to actually communicate due to the GPS system that's set up through our Nayax. And as you can see here, we have a good connection with the GPS and a good machine control because we've arrived at the screen. On our next video, we're going to set up a Nayax account, and then we're going to monitor this account with our corresponding price sensor that's going to alert through the Nayax